Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel Element Algorithm. I'm Suren. In this video, we are going to look at how to make our character jump and even double jump. This is more like a continuation of the previous video where we achieved character running. Let me play this game quickly so that you guys will understand what we did in the previous video. So we have achieved characters running. So now our goal in this particular video is to make the character jump when I press the play button. When I press the space button. Okay, so that's exactly what I'm trying to do. Okay, so how to achieve that? Let me quickly explain the project that I have. I'm using the same project as a continuation from the previous video where we achieved character running. So you can consider this more like a part 2 video to the same one. Okay. What I have right now is, let me select the Santa and go to the animation, and you could able to see that I have character Santa idle animation, Santa jump animation and run animation. In the previous video you might have seen I explained about this one and this one. Again, I'm telling you, if you are interested in knowing how to create sprite animations like this, I have an exclusive video on the topic. The link is actually given in the description of this video, so go ahead and take a look at that first, then you can able to come over here to understand more better. Okay, now what I'm gonna do is, let me show you the Santa jump animation. Can you see? That's the Santa jump animation I have created from the sprites I had. So whenever I press the play button, whenever I press the space key in my keyboard, this animation should run, and also at the same time the character should actually go up. Okay, every time I press the space button. That's for a jump. And what about double jump is when the character is in the air, okay, when you press the space bar again, then the character should jump one more time. Okay, so that's the condition. It's kind of tricky, but if you understand the logic behind it, it's extremely simple. So what we do right now is, let me create, okay, I have this character Santa jump right here, okay, which means I need to connect this with a particular node in the animator so that I can able to do that. For that I have to create a parameter. This time I'm actually going for trigger, and I'm actually giving a name more like S jump. Okay, so something like that, Santa jump. All right, so Santa jump, I'm going to okay, this one is tricky. I need to say a few things about it. You know, the entry is more like when the game is running or when the game is starting to run, it actually goes to the Santa idle by default. Then the boolean, the condition for Santa run is, the transform or translate value of the character. If you have seen the previous video, I think you will understand. If the transform translate value is more than 1 or less than 0, which means negative and positive direction, so this animation will run and it goes back. Okay, this is fine. Now the Santa jump, where to connect this? Can we connect like this? Okay, if this is a question, well, I would not suggest to do so. The problem is the character might jump any time in the game. For example, you could able to press the space bar when the character is not doing anything, which is idle, or you could do the space bar when the character is actually was running. So the system, even the player, us, we don't know when we would be pressing the jump button. So the best deal is to connect your Santa jump to any state, which means, what is this any state? This represents no matter whatever the character in whichever state it is, okay, this will get in effect. Okay, whether the character is idle or Santa is running or searching, attacking, or whatever state it is in right now, it does not matter, and that's what we call any state. From there you need to connect Santa jump. Okay, so what we're gonna do is, right click, make transition, connect the Santa, jump, and from there connect it to the Santa idle. So after the jump, it either comes to the idle, or if you press the run button, it straight away goes to the Santa run. And this is a typical setup you could able to use in any of your games for running especially. So let me select this one, and as I usually do, it does not have any exit time. Okay, I don't need any exit time, so make sure the exit time is empty. And fixed duration, I don't want it. I normally go for 0, okay, because I want the transition to be instantaneous. And the most importantly, what is the condition, okay, for the character to go? For example, what condition it will go from here, you need to actually set it in the condition. So press the plus button and you could able to get, okay, the jump. Since this is a trigger, okay, there is no true or false present because this is a trigger. Okay, now once this is triggered, it goes to the Santa jump. Then from here it actually goes to the exit time. Exit time is fine and fixed duration is fine. And in this, actually I need a smooth transition from jump to Santa idle, because you know at the time the character might be falling down back because of gravity, so I need this transition like that. Okay, let's see how it works. Let the play button. Okay, so I'm gonna just trigger this. See, super cool. So when I'm running, okay, hang on a second. Right, sorry, I'm running. Yeah. So if you would have seen the animation right here, from any state it goes to the Santa jump, goes to the Santa idle, and if you happen to be running, it straight goes to the run state straight from the Santa idle. Okay, so I think this works. The only problem right now is our animation is set. We need to make sure our Santa jumps when we press the space bar. Well, how to do that? Let's get into the programming stage. Let me open up the Santa movement script, which we created for Santa, you know, horizontal movement in the last video. Okay, let this to open. Okay, so if you take a look at it, this is exactly what we had last time, right? This makes the character to move. Now what we need to do is we need to start adding our character jump script. For that, actually, before I head on to that, I need to actually tell you a few conditions what we do. This is a basic logic for jump and double jump. So imagine we have 3 conditions, guys. Okay, so when the character is actually on the ground, okay, when the character is actually in the air, okay, there are 3 things. First of all, what is our first condition? Our first condition is jump when space bar is pressed. Okay, this is first condition. The second condition is when should the character jump? The character can able to jump only when it is standing on the ground. I mean, either it has to stand in a platform, okay, or it needs to be standing on the ground, which means there is a collision happening right here. So the jump when spacebar is pressed, number 1, and jump only when on ground, plus when somebody press spacebar. This is second condition. Third condition is double jump. Double jump only when in air. Okay, so this is another one. Okay, so these 3 logic we need to make sure. So when it is in the air and when someone press space bar, this will go double jump. Okay, but after that, the double jump, after the double jump, the jump needs to be cancelled, which means the character should not able to jump 3rd time, and only it can able to jump after it actually reaches the ground again. You understand what I mean? So what we need to do is we need to check the condition. Number one, when the character is in the ground, then jump is true. Okay, it means it can jump. When it is in the air, after the jump, it can jump one more time. After the second jump, our jump spacebar is disabled, and it can able to jump only when the character is landing again. So this is the logic we are going to follow. So this is more like making coffee or making tea, you know what I mean? It's pseudocode, that's what we call. Pseudocode is simple statements or conditions that you can set yourself. On top of that, you can be able to write your program with. Okay, now the first thing is jump when spacebar. Let's do that. Okay, this is condition number one. Let's do that. For that, we need to have a rigid body, because we are going to make the character jump using its rigid body attached to it. So I'm gonna say RB2D is rigid body 2D. Oh, sorry, man. Rigid body 2D, RB2D is what I'm going to call it. And in my start function, as we usually do, RB2D is equal to get component rigid body. So we are making it ready to be used, or we are calling that to be used inside the program. In here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create my new function. Okay, like Santa movement, we have a function right here. So I'm gonna have my new function. Okay, I'm gonna call it Santa jump. Super cool. So inside that, I'm actually going to write whatever I want to write for the jump command. For the jump command, basically, we need to have a condition, which is if jump is enabled, okay, then what to do. Before we do that, we need to have, okay, two conditions. Okay, what are those two conditions are is, as according to our pseudocode in here, we need to have two true or false conditions. So let's go ahead and say bool jump enabled is equal to true. So I have a variable called whether the jump is enabled or not, and I have one more called in air, so is equal to false, which means if the character is in the air or not. So I'm declaring it right there. So in here, what is our third condition? When someone presses space bar, okay, that is fine. When it is grounded, okay, that is, which means in our thing, if it is grounded, then jump enabled will be true. What is the third condition for the first jump? Is space bar should be there, it should be grounded. Okay, for the first jump, the conditions are it should be touching the ground, number one. Someone should press the space bar, number two. Okay, so that condition we need to go for. How to detect whether it is touching the floor or not? The best way, we can go for on collision state 2D, which means this command detects whether the collider is constantly colliding with another collider. Okay, so on collision state 2D, we are actually going to tell, we say jump enabled is equal to true. Oops. So which means if the character is, as long as the character collider is colliding with another collider, in our case we have only the platform, so I am keeping this simple, the code really simple. If you are actually making a complex game, what you would do is get the concept from this and try to apply it in your game. Okay, of course there is no way for me to teach every possible condition you can be able to use your jump conditions that would fit with your game. Okay, I'm just giving you an overall idea in this video which can be easily applied by you according to the prevailing conditions in your game. So now jump enabled is equal to true, and I have one more thing, on collision state 2D, which is if the character is constantly colliding with other. In my game actually it's only the platform. If that is happening, then the character, I can be sure that character is not in the air, right? Because the collider is colliding with the platform. So there is no way the character can be in the air. So I'm gonna say if in this condition in air is equal to false, because the collision is happening right here. Now since we deduct this using this, let's go to Santa jump and let's tell the Unity when the Santa can able to jump. Now let's go for a condition. If let's declare a condition, jump enabled should be true, and okay, in air, okay, should be false. So instead of saying in air is equal to false, I could use negate statements in air, so which means in air is not true. And last but not the least, input dot, okay, get key down, key code, oops, key code dot space. So what this means, we have three things guys going on here. Okay, this jump statement will work only if the jump should be enabled, which means the character should be on the ground and the character is not on the air, and the input dot get key down, which means someone has pressed the space bar. Well, please be sure of this symbol, this 2 ampersand symbol. Look, the un command works when all these three should be true guys. I'm repeating again, this if statement will run only and only if these three conditions, all three are true. If one of this is false, then this input command will not work, and that's exactly what we want, correct? Now, so if this is the case, what needs to be done? Then let's say first of all Santa animator, okay, dot set trigger, because we have set the trigger there called, I believe it's S jump, yeah, S jump. We have animating that. Then RB2D to rigid body dot add force command, which means we can adding the force in a particular axis. And which axis is it? We are applying on a new vector 2. It has to go vertical, so we're gonna say 0f for the x, and the vertical, let's say 5f for now. Okay, most importantly, what is the type of force we are going to apply? We are going to apply force mode. There are two of them, force mode dot force, force mode dot impulse. I'm gonna go for force mode dot impulse because impulse kind of force will act in a very short time, okay, and will not keep applying on the character or on the object. So I would love impulse for the jump. Okay, now what happens, this is the character is going to jump. Okay, after these couple of lines the character will be in the air. So what we need to do is we need to say the character is cannot jump anymore. Okay, only double jump is allowed. So double jump enabled is equal to false. So what this happens is, okay, why I did that is because this, okay, hang on a second, once we execute this jump, okay, we are making it to false, so that when you press the space bar this will not run again because the jump enabled is false now. Okay, and that's exactly why it is. And most importantly, we need to enable double jump at this moment because we finished our first jump. So we need to say in air is equal to true. Oops, in air is equal to true. All right, so now that is done, let's go ahead and check whether it works. By the way, can you see this is in gray color, which means we never used it in the update. So please, let's add it, Santa jump. Okay, we go back to Unity, let it to compile. Yep. Okay, so let's check whether it works. Yeah, the character runs fine. Jump, jump, yep, 2 times, jump, jump. Since we have disabled the jump after the first jump, okay, so the spacebar is inactive until the character touches the floor or the other platform again. So this is a simple most double jump you can able to use in your 2D games. Okay, for example, okay, this is first spacebar, on the top another spacebar. Okay, but if you keep pressing your spacebar, you know what? The character can never able to jump after that because the condition we have set, like this character should be on the ground. Okay, so when the character goes up, the first jump, you can able to jump one more time, but at that time actually your the condition becomes false. The character is not grounded. So what happens is, the character cannot jump one more time, and that's the end of it. Okay, so we have a beautiful Santa now actually running back and forth, and can able to jump and double jump and can reach platforms, okay, on the top as well. Okay, so well, basically you can fool around with the gravity, okay, of the Santa. Okay, and one more thing I almost forgot to tell you. The Santa, okay, has a rigid body function. Okay, so the Santa's rigid body, you could say the freeze rotation is basically have actually frozen the rotation in Z-axis. Okay, basically if you switch this off, I'll tell you what happens. Okay, let me play this game. This is one important point I wanted to add. Can you see? That's hilarious. Okay, so what happens is your Santa becomes wobbly, and according to the collision it might rotate in a Z-axis, which is not desired anywhere in this particular game. Okay, because this is a character, it's not an omnidirectional object which can able to rotate. So what we need to do is we make sure go to the rigid body of the character, and we make sure you put Z, freeze rotation of Z, and that will stop the character from being rotated when it is colliding with the other objects. Okay, so I think I made the logic clear, and this is as far as I know, we could able to achieve double jump in several ways. We can have a ground check, collider and all. Since this is a beginner series, I just try to keep the logic as simple as possible. So hope this video actually serves the purpose, and if you have come this far, I think you like the content what I'm delivering. So please do subscribe the channel, and please do spread your support. Okay, so all the best in anything that you guys anything that you do, guys. All right, I'll catch you up with my next video. I'll see you when I see you. All right, take care.